Alright, here's a little bit of an explanation on how we put our 3D armor for the N7 Mass Effect armor together. So as you can see, most of this is all more or less attached in one general piece for the main chest. The main reason for this is for easy accessibility, and putting it on makes it a hell of a lot easier. So the chest piece, it has two velcros which you can strip off both sides so you can separate the chest. So there is a velcro here which attaches to the main chest armor right here. It keeps it up and tucked under the portion right here. Most of the felt in here is mostly just to protect your undersuit, also to help from chafing, rubbing the paint off of your suit. The two flaps here, which is for your neck piece, are attached under your neck piece. This is mostly just, it's not like load bearing or anything, it's just to keep it from floating around when you're wearing it. As you can see the back, I have the silver tape on it. It's ducting tape. It's mostly just to keep the light that we have for the back panel from leaking out. We're using 12 volt battery powered lights, which we keep in here. I have a little on-off switch and a rechargeable 9-volt battery in there. This makes it, doing it this way also makes it a lot easier for you to take it off and on. And the piece back in here for the centerpiece, we actually just cut the whole thing out, and I used a PVC pipe to fit in the hole. Can't really tell, but basically we cut the hole right out and used one of those couplers from a PVC pipe, which makes it a lot easier to put in the LED lights and everything as well. So for the back, there's just a couple of pieces of stretchy here. Everything is all hot glued down. As you can see, this the side panels have a piece of Velcro on both sides. Now mine is cut a little bit further back, which requires you to have somebody else to help you put it on. But if you cut the piece at this line instead, when you're printing it, instead of here, it's a lot more easier to manage to put it on yourself. The felt also plays a secondary role. So when you put the stretchy stuff on, it can sometimes often peel off, and the felt plays a little bit of reinforcement game plus protection game when you're wearing it. So let me go further down, and the bottom piece is again held together by a long piece of stretchy. So this is a longer strip, about this wide, and it attaches to the back half of the belt down here, and there's another piece of felt across that as well to reinforce it. Then the butt plate is held on by two stretchies, one on either side, attached to the back of the belt, and of course again reinforced with felt. And move over to the chest, or the ab armor. Everything on the ab armor is also fully attached to one another. So you got the front plate attached by one piece here. You can put two if you really want to, but I didn't find it was required for more than one little piece here, because it's not very structurally heavy. And we were going to put something underneath here, which you can, to keep it from floating around, but we found that we didn't have to. And to attach chest, again, same thing. Didn't put felt on this one, so you can actually see how it's hot glued in there. You can see the hot glue pressing out. You just gotta make sure you press it down really hard after you put the hot glue on it. These pieces are made out of non-stretchy nylon. This is to keep it from being pulled out from underneath your chest. And like I said, those go directly to those two pads on the chest piece over here, right here. And the belt is all attached as well by stretchy on the corners. When you put it on, basically all you end up having to do is just put your back piece on. You put it onto your back, then you'll have the belt holding everything on the front, so you're holding the chest, and then you just have to simply pull it around you and loop up the chest, or loop up the belt. So it'll come over, and Velcro right here. So it'll look something kind of like this. Gives you a nice amount of flexibility doing it this way as well. And the stretchy does give you a little bit of playroom here, so if you're like crouching up and down, it allows you to flex back and forth. And that's generally how the whole kind of chest setup kind of works. Hope this helps. Oh, and as for the thighs, we used a pair of bike shorts, but you can actually put the Velcro and sew it straight onto your suit, like we did for our Mandalorian. But for this, we put stretchy bands around the leg so that it retains on your leg, and you just have to pull it up your leg. And then the Velcro inside here attaches to the Velcro on your legs. I would suggest using something a little bit of a stiffer fabric. We tried bicycle shorts because it was stretchy, but we found it was a little too stretchy for the weight of the material that we used, because we made everything a little, pretty thick, because we didn't want it to like get bumped up or damaged a lot. So you can actually make it thinner than we did, which will help reduce the weight of it. Because this piece here is like, just the thigh armor is like probably about 10 pounds. And then that brings us to the leg cuffs, or the leg bottoms. So inside, you can see I have a zipper on the back of this one. You can do it this way, or you can do it double stretch like I have on the other set, but this one has a zipper on it so that you can, if you have like problems with your legs or something, or such, you can put it on a lot easier because it gives you more freedom of room. And straight down the middle is a piece of stretchy that stretches this way or this way, so when you try to open it, it stretches open, but it stays pretty firm that way. And there's another piece up here, because you don't really want to keep it freely moving. You don't want that knee piece to be completely solid. You want to be able to let it flex as well, otherwise it could possibly break off. But, as you can see, reinforced everything in here. The stretchy fabric as well. So the leather, or the zipper, is sewed onto a stretchy fabric, or rather a stretchy band. So it'll stretch if you need to while you're wearing it as well. The other one is just as simply a stretchy band that allows it to flex open while you're wearing it. So, and then it comes down to the gloves. So the gloves, everything here is just hot glued on. Nothing special. It's just a pair of biker gloves, and we hot glued it into the fabric. So So nothing too terribly hard. It stayed on there really well. Some of it will peel off here and there in like the more flexible spots, like right here. This worked pretty good. Anyways, I hope that helped you out. And just so that you can see, I'll turn the back piece on. And so turn that on. So this is basically like an underglow set from Canadian Tire. It's supposed to be run off of 12 volts, but you can run it off of a 9-volt battery. It just runs slightly dimmer, but nice and bright. And you can get it in multiple colors. You can also get one with a controller. It's pretty cheap and looks pretty good. And I would advise trying to cut this out in the 3D tool before you print it. Most of this is all printed in separate pieces, so this was printed separate, these pieces were printed separate, this was completely separate, the backing piece was printed separately, and it was all super glued together. The back plate was printed separate from each side, so it was cut in half, so in case it failed on the printer, we wouldn't have to do a lot of waste. The neck piece, we were going to keep it separate from the back piece, but we decided to just simply glue it onto the back, and that worked extremely well. So don't be afraid to do that. Just make sure before you glue it on, you put the neck piece on yourself, and then have somebody measure where the back is supposed to be before you permanently glue it to the back piece. As you can see, we did have these ribs further down, but I used the Dremel to trim it out, and so that the whole back piece sits flush. And this keeps it super stable as well. Anyways, I hope this helped everybody out, and I can show you one other thing. So under here, it worked fairly well for if you're just attaching the shoulder together, but I put a snap under here for the shoulder pads. You can use Velcro, or possibly switch the snap into the neck piece right here, but this worked relatively well for us. Maybe a better snap would work better. This one's technically just a button for like a winter jacket or something. I used a heat gun to melt it into the plastic, and then reinforced it with more plastic waste from other prints, and didn't have to do anything else other than that. So if you do use a snap like I did, just take the bottom half, melt it in using the tool, and then once everything is cooled down and you can hammer it, you should probably also melt some extra material into the hole before you actually melt the piece in there, because the first one I did, I started hammering it and it broke the inner material. After I reinforced all the other ones before I did that, it worked a lot better when I was hammering the lip down. Anyways, thanks for watching, and happy cosplaying.